Yep, we're live. All right, guys, we are top of the hour and the Zel Community Update meeting is about to begin. I just want to validate that everyone can hear me. So if you are in chat, you guys let me know. Good. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody today for coming out for the Zel Community Update. This has been a long time in process. We've been really sitting and thinking long and hard how we wanted to approach this. I have some pretty awesome news today. Some of this is a recount of kind of what we have done in 2020. It's been pretty epic in more than one way in 2020, but for Zel, it's been a very good been a very good development cycle. So we're going to take some time today. We're going to talk a little bit about a few different things. We are going to look back at 2020, some of the things that Zel has accomplished. My goal is to make this meeting about a half hour, and then what we're going to do is we have been blessed because today has decided to come on today, and he is actually at the end of this meeting going to live stream, adding one of the very first dApps to Flux, which would be really awesome. I think his exact quote was, "I sure as hell hope it works." I said, well, there's only one way to do it. Let's do it live. So that's kind of how we do things here, right? So yeah, grab your beer, grab your coffee, and sit down and go for a ride. So we'll talk a little bit about Zelcore, some of the things that are coming up with Zelcore. We have some exciting additions that we're going to be adding here in the real near future. We're going to talk a lot about Flux, and kind of the reason you guys here today is that for the past 2 years, we've had a common goal, a goal of pushing toward a decentralized computational network. And I am pleased to announce that we've released 1.1. So we've already made it past the 1.0. And we are in the process of being able to launch global apps as well. With that comes a partnership announcement we're going to announce today that I think will be very highly interesting to people that have been in the space and continue to support the project. So I'm excited to delve deep into that. So as we talked about, before we get started too far along here, and today it's just kind of me rambling on, so I can kind of do this how I want, but I want to do a little housekeeping, and I want to start off by saying thank you to the community. You guys have been unbelievably supportive, and when things have been rough and we've continued to keep our nose down, our asses up, we've continued to keep developing, and without the community and without that support, I don't know where we'd be. I want to thank Tadeusz. I want to thank Parker. I want to thank Frogs. I want to thank every single person on the business development team. So we got Brent, we've got Lucas, we got David, we've got all of the Zelcore folks, so Volter, developers. Each one of you guys have played a massive part. And if I'm skipping your name, it's not because I don't love you. You guys are just all awesome, and I don't know how we would do it without you. We have a mission statement here at Zel, and our mission statement is learn fast, break it, make it work. We believe in the technology that we're developing. We believe in the people that are helping us develop this technology, and we believe that this will be the next iteration of blockchain. And when I say that wholeheartedly. It isn't bullshit. It isn't fluff. It isn't FOMO. This is getting us to the next level where we can have interchain operability. We can work with projects from all walks. We can tie things together, whether it's in the primary technology sector or whether it's in the blockchain sector. And Flux is going to do that. So this is a kind of a year in review and a little look forward. And what a year it was. It was absolutely insane. In terms of development, it never stopped. Almost over 2,200 commits. That's an old number. It's, Tadeusz probably did 15 commits last night while he was sleeping. We looked, there was a major issue with COVID. Flux stepped up for the folding at home. If you weren't part of that, that was absolutely fantastic. We took a idle computational network and tuned that shit up and ran folding at home and even impressed the folding at home guys, which was awesome. We've integrated BitPay, which is absolutely awesome. We've worked with Gemini to add their exchange in as well, so their API integration as well. We put on our very first blockchain developers summit, which was a lot of fun. I had a blast with that. if you guys haven't had an opportunity to check that out, go to our Zel Labs YouTube and check it out. It was a lot of fun. Really good talks by really educated people in the space. We launched our Zel node monitoring right out of Zel Core. If you have a Zel node and you want to monitor it, you want to maintain it and track it right in Zel Core, we continue to go 100 miles an hour to push all things blockchain, all things crypto, all things technology into this new platform of Zel Core. So bring it all together. One of the big things we just released recently was the staking for a service. We want to figure out ways to incentivize our valued community. So a lot of people said, well, how can I get Zel Core Plus? Well, you can buy it, or you can support the project by staking. And if you stake over 5,000 Zel, you get Zel Core Plus for free, which we're continuing to add features to every day. So that it's a ton of value add. We launched one of the very first dApps on the Flux platform, not designed or developed by the projects. So Dibby Fetch was, we threw out an idea and said, hey, let's create an oracle based on our decentralized computational network. And we had somebody jump in and say, hey, I'm willing to do that. And we'll talk a little bit about Dibby Fetch here in the future here on the slides, but man, it has been a hell of a year. We've done a lot of work for sure. So let's talk a little bit about Zel Core. So Zel Core has continued to mature. So our last major update was 3.0, but we've had many updates since then. The UI, the UX has gotten cleaner. Big shout out to the guys, Volter and Trunk, and all the guys that work on Zel Core and keep it nice and tidy. There's always little glitches, little bugs, user interface pieces, and it never ceases to amaze me because I'm always looking for something to bitch about, and I can almost never find it. So it's always, and if I do find it, I come in and they've already got a fix for it, which is amazing. So big shout out to those guys. But one of the big things we did was we're continuing to expand our footprint for Zel Core, which was our goal to begin with. We added Huawei store, if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Just some of the statistics from Zel Core are absolutely phenomenal. We're now well over 145,000 users total, active users that are involved in the platform and using it to store their crypto and assets. We had 50 million plus API calls to Zel Core last month, which is absolutely unreal. Now, granted, a good bit of that was ETH calls, but still, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. We've got a combination of about 15,000 to 16,000 Twitter followers, engagers. We have 6,900 Discord members, which are, for the most part, very active Discord members, which is pretty awesome. We are averaging currently about 9.7 million Bitcoin calls per week, about 4.5 million Zel, about 2.5 million ETH, or I'm sorry, 25 million ETH. Thanks, DeFi. 25 million ETH, and we are the largest active Zcash fork, including Zcash itself, in terms of transactions. So that is amazing, and it's amazing what the guys have really done. Constantly thinking of new opportunities to develop out the platform. We talked about our staking for a service. This is huge because it expands well beyond just Zel Core Plus. Staking for a service, as we continue to develop the Flux platform, it could look a little bit different. You could, by supporting that project, be able to stake and maybe run an application or something of that nature. So this is very interesting because to my knowledge, I don't know anyone that's doing this. And you talk about use case, that's a great use case for Zel. So you get the premium features that Zel Core Plus has to offer: your portfolio, your additional wallets, your access to all the API exchanges and everything else, and you can do that right in Zel Core, and that's pretty badass. Oh, let's go back. So I want to talk about our next slide. We're pleased to announce our partnership with Zcoin. So Zcoin will now be moving their masternode monitoring into the Zel Core platform. So if you're a fan of Zcoin and Ruben and all that gang, which we are, we love working with people that have the same ethos as us, very privacy centric, and always looking to develop technology. That's awesome. So you will now be able to monitor your masternode status, your payouts, and your history within Zel Core. This is a great partnership for us because they have been very, very, very awesome to work with. Ruben and that team and what they have been able to produce. We align ourselves with projects that have the same ethos as us. They believe in the same things that we believe in. And it was a natural, as we sat down and started planning out the next phase for Zel Core Plus and the node monitoring aspect of it, we could add just about any node structure out there into Zel Core to monitor and maintain that. So if you know a project out there that would like to have a centralized monitoring platform like what we're doing with Zcoin, let's take a look at that. It looks just like that. It's kind of blurry a little bit. I took the picture, sorry. You'll be able to do everything you do with your Zel nodes, with your Z nodes now right in Zel Core. So that's a huge addition for us. So welcome to the Zcoin team, and we look forward to working with their community as well as we continue to keep developing in that area. Here's what to expect from Zel on the very short term. Everybody says they want to know about a roadmap, and we're going to talk about a roadmap in a bit. We're going to talk about a roadmap in a bit, but for now, what we would really like to talk about is what you're going to expect in the very short term. So one of the things that everybody has asked for is fiat onboarding. And we are getting ready to release fiat onboarding into Zel Core. Why is that important? Well, you can get your dollars, your euros, all your fiat into Zel Core. You'll be able to purchase anything that's in that platform as well. And if you are staking your Zel or you've purchased Zel Core Plus, you will get reduced fees for those particular platforms. So big shout out to Brent and Lucas, who've worked very hard on this aspect, part of the project. They've really kind of put together a really good solid plan for this moving forward. We're announcing TRC20 tokens, which means we can now do all the TRC20 tokens. 6 of them are going to come, I think, with the next update. That'll be the ones that are listed on the picture here. We will have additional Zel Core incentives. So as we continue to develop Zel Core Plus out, and we're going to add things, we are going to entice people to either stake and or buy the service. We're really looking forward to that as well. And the big thing is more assets. So we kind of took a poll. We talked to people. We said, what do you want to see in Zel Core? And pretty much everybody said we want to see more assets. So we're going to start focusing on some of the logical partners that we want to add, logical things we want to add into the platform. So now what I want to do is take some time, and this is kind of numbers are ticking up. We've got a lot of people viewing, which I'm really happy for. We're going to talk a little bit about Flux. So Flux is kind of the man of the hour, so to speak, or woman of the hour. We want to talk about how Flux works, how we can continue to keep developing on the platform, what the value add is, and what are the opportunities. And when we're done that, we're going to talk about the very first use case for Zel Flux that is a partnership that we're really looking forward to as well. And it's going to add a ton of value to people that are running Zel nodes and have been loyal to the project for a very long time. So we're really looking forward to that. So we talk about build, Dockerize, centralize. The computational network, really what it's all about is, hold on one second. We'll launch this. So what is Flux? Flux is a decentralized computational network. You guys can see this document as well. It's kind of a little overview. I'm just going to go top level. This, as we get down into the weeds, we will disseminate this so that you can see what it is as well. We have about 800 private servers and over 100 node operators. It allows for applications written in any Dockerized language. So in layman's terms, if you can build it, you can put it on Flux, which is pretty awesome. What is Flux currently used for? Well, it just literally, we just took the wrapper off of it. So September the 22nd, 2020, brought us the ability to launch Zel apps, or Zaps, as Brent likes to call them. Currently, the first Zel app ever launched on the network was the Folding at Home, which we talked about earlier in the presentation. And we also launched, I don't know, 800 plus explorers. Why? Because we could do it. So we wanted to do it and show that we could launch things very quickly. We also launched Divi Fetch, which we talked about earlier, which is a price oracle. And we are going to talk about launching our first partner project, and that will be talked about here in a second, and that's Cadena. What will Flux be used for in the future? Well, we'll continue to create next line decentralized applications. We're going to focus on not only blockchain, but we're also going to focus on the technology sector. There's a very rich, vibrant technology sector out there, and we're really looking forward to going after that as well. Some people call it the crypto echo chamber. We want to break that echo chamber. We want to get outside of the crypto world, and we want to make blockchain as a service available for everybody. We'll continue to interact with other blockchains. So if anybody knows me, I've talked about it in the past. The holy grail of blockchain is interchain operability. So it's chains working together to continue to keep developing and leverage the strength of one project into another project. And you're going to see that when we start talking about KDA and some of the things that we're going to be doing with them. It will create a full interaction with any blockchain. This means blockchains can launch dApps on hosted infrastructure via Flux. We'll be targeting high-end business models. We'll be targeting developers, and we will also be targeting our everyday Joes that want to create a Dockerized application and launch it on Flux. With that, that'll take time. We'll need to spend quite a bit of time over the next several months continuing to learn exactly what we can do and how we can break Flux and then rebuild it and do it all over again and have fun doing it as we grow. But that's how we learn. We talked about who can launch on Flux. So basically, it'll be a local registration, which involves launching the application on your node. So for instance, if we say the Divi Fetch, we can launch that on every single node on the network, and the node ops can run those as well. So you can do local registration, all that kind of good stuff. The thing that I'm really excited about it is the global registration. So you can globally register a document or an app across these vetted entities. This is a showcase for Flux. We have already launched Cadena validator nodes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the Divi Fetch scenario here in a minute. We're going to continue to keep working on that global launch. We'll push it into the next iteration. We think that is within the next couple of months. You'll start to see opportunities to participate with the network. We're going to talk about one of those ways here in a minute. We are going to work on our governance model, because one of the things that we really want to focus on is making sure that we include the people that are running the network and the governance model of the network. To start out, being completely transparent, Zel Flux has a level of centralization at this particular point in time, and that is by nature. But as we move forward with the decentralized governance model, it will take it out of the hands of the developers, the current developing model, and put it into the hands of the community. If it was up to Trunk, he would have done it yesterday. But we need to make sure that we protect our node ops, we protect our team, we protect our people. We do things legally and within compliance, and things that we've got at this particular point have been vetted, and they are without a doubt. We're not haphazardly just rolling out applications. It needs to be in scale, and we need to learn as we do it. So more information on this is going to be released coming up. We're going to close this out and go back to this document. So more information about this will be released as we continue to keep developing. I've got to tell you, I'm totally beside myself. You know, when we sit down as a team and we talk about opportunities on how to grow this thing, the guys just got it together. Big props to Trunk, and you know, he has been a visionary with this. And you know, it's easy. It makes me look like a genius because I go out and I find these business opportunities and I bring them back, and Trunk is able to, you know, make these opportunities come to fruition almost in front of your eyes, as you guys will find out at the end of the call. So again, Flux is maturing, and it's very, very, very exciting. Hold on. So we talked about Divi Fetch. Why is Divi Fetch important? Well, if anybody knows, it started out as kind of a joke, but as it's continued to develop and continue to grow, we realized very quickly that this gave us an opportunity to fix a problem, and that was to pull all of our information together in one centralized location. And really, by definition, that is an oracle. And the oracles that are in existence today, not necessarily decentralized. The cool thing about Divi Fetch is it runs on our Zel decentralized computational network, which makes it truly the very first decentralized oracle that there is. And if you haven't checked out Divi Fetch, I highly suggest you do it. We have, amazingly enough, we have people building on the project already, whether it's the developing and pulling it into their project. This is actually Divi Fetch, so you can see it. And we have people that are creating add-ons and bringing things in. So basically, it aggregates all the information across the different exchanges right into one centralized location, so you can get a global average weighted volume. And then you can also look at the prices across exchange. One of the things I like to use Divi Fetch for is arbitrage. Gives you really good arbitrage opportunities. Refreshes about once every 3 times a minute. But as we continue to roll it out and develop it, we'll add on a secondary API, which will be instantaneous. The cool thing about Divi Fetch is it is going to run our back-end price servers for Zel Core. And we are in the process of tuning that up right now, which is awesome because it really gives our decentralized computational network another robust use case that pulls all that back in again. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend you check it out. It's kind of cool. You can go in here and you can just, you know, find your asset and you can play a little arbitrage, or maybe even you can come down here and grab the API and start to build something yourself. So this next one we're going to spend a little time on. So there's a lot of people that have talked about those Flux roadmap. This goes back to Q1 of 2020, the creation of the deterministic nodes. It's hard to believe that we've moved this fast, this quickly. It's absolutely fantastic. Flux was released on Zel nodes. Q2 2020, we did our benchmarking D, which is a very important process of the node structure. It keeps everybody honest on the network, and that's very important. We globally launched our Zel Explorers, so we have over 900 active Zel Explorers, creating a very deep and robust infrastructure. And we our initial deployment of our very first app, which was folding at home, and we had quite a bit of participation in that. Q3 brought Flux talking to all nodes. So the nodes started talking to each other, which is pretty amazing to watch, I have to say. I always wished I could work with, you know, Satoshi Nakamoto and be part of the inside as you see something grow. Damn, I got lucky because I got to see it. We tested the capabilities of the Zaps, and we launched that some of those apps over 900 nodes. So we have over 900 nodes online today. What you're going to expect, Q4, we're going to do our global app deployment. We launched Flux 1.0. We're actually at Flux 1.1 now. We are announcing our very first partnership with the Cadena network. Those guys, and I'll talk a little bit about Cadena in a minute. And as a matter of fact, we were lucky enough to have some of the Cadena guys to come on and talk with us a little here at the end. So looking forward to that. We launched our first decentralized Oracle and Divi Fetch, and our Zel Core rate server infrastructure moved over to Flux as well, which is awesome. Additional third-party partnerships are continuing to develop. We want to launch our first web page for Flux, which will go live, and I believe it's live right now. So Flux will actually have its the website updated, and that'll be out there as well. And we're looking to release the new Flux white paper. You got a real small sampling of what that white paper looks like. It really bullet points. It gives in plain terms exactly what Flux does and how it does it. One of our goals is to surpass 1,000 nodes, and I think we're going to do that very easily. I think we're at 936 or something right now, and I think after today, I think that'll go up. And we want to use 10% of our current network. We want to really leverage and really stress test our network as we continue to kind of keep scaling up. So Q1 brings a lot of really good stuff. App tracking. So we will have an app tracking page. I'm not sure where that'll be, whether that'll be something you can access from Zel Core, or whether or not that'll be an actual website itself. We're going to work on our V1 Flux governance model. We talked a little bit earlier about the fact we want to make sure that we get this into the hands of the people, and that people can start to develop not only Zel Technologies or Keras Collective or any of these business models, but others can continue to develop on top of that. We're going to target Web3 ecosystem to launch Zaps in a decentralized manner. I don't know if you guys know what Web3 is, but check it out. It's pretty sick. I think it is probably one of the bigger things that we can do on this network as well, other than what we are announcing today. We want to increase our Zel use case within Flux. We're going to continue to keep building that use case for Zel as that utility model. We want to make sure that it is used in all parts of the practice. So someday, I think you could probably see a premium level of Divi Fetch, which would require Zel for real-time price aggregation. We plan on adding not only decentralized assets or tokens, but we plan on adding physical assets, so gold, silver, platinum. Fetch will be able to pull all of that information all into one place. And guess what? If you got Zel and maybe you staked it in Zel Core, you get that aggregated information. And that's important for developers as well, because they'll have a robust setup to be able to work with if they need price aggregation for their project. One of the things we're going to talk about is a new node tier. So we're going to talk about storage nodes. We don't know what that looks like yet. We know that as we continue to utilize this high-end computational power, that we will need to have a higher level of storage nodes as well. So maybe you see the basic node become a storage node. Maybe you see another class of node come into that as well. But the parameters on that particular node will be different than, say, Super or BAMF, which require high levels of computational network resources. Maybe this is a shit ton of hard drives. So if you've got standard hard drives, not even solid states out there, you could see a massive stack of requirements for hard drives. So I started saving mine. You should save yours too. Creation of the ZDAO. I'm not going to delve into that because I know enough to be dangerous, and there'll be more information disseminated about that in the coming months. The launch of decentralized applications on Flux, targeting specifically the DeFi industry. And one of those partners is here with us today, and that's KDA and some of the stuff that they're doing. The first decentralized computational network governed by a DAO, which would be absolutely insane, and I'm really looking forward to that. Meshing node hardware, which utilizes Zel nodes hardware across Zap. And the last but not least, data sharing amongst Zel nodes. So I am probably really excited about that one because as kind of a layman, I say is that Dropbox or something of that nature that these nodes can communicate together, and that's the answer that I got. So I'm excited for that. We'll continue to see that gradually rolled out. So I am absolutely pleased to announce our very first partnership for Flux. KDA will be launching on the Flux decentralized network. And what the hell does that mean? That means that node owners who are participating in the Flux network will be able to stand up and run a full node Kadena and be rewarded in not only Zel, but KDA. So if you are running a super node or if you're running a BAMF, you will immediately qualify after about a 2-month test cycle, and you will be able to receive KDA as that node is running. So people talk about passive income models, they talk about staking, they talk about all these things. This is actually creating use case for Flux. It's creating an incentivized miners, node owners, and it's continuing to grow and scale the network. So this is huge because I don't know any other project in the space that's doing this. And the Kadena guys, if you haven't checked out that project, just a great bunch of people to work with. One of the things that they announced yesterday was that they would be coming out with their KDA decentralized exchange, their DEX model. And man, it looks fantastic. So for Flux and for the Zel team to be aligned with them as they continue to grow and iterate is absolutely exciting. So again, Zel node operators can receive KDA on top of the Zel rewards. We're going to have about a 2-month testing period as we start to roll this out. And then once you've stood up a KDA node, you'll be qualified to get into that as well. So 2 months, we're going to have a kind of like a beta plan, and then we're going to go into launching this live. So some of the goal pieces here is we want to stand up over 100 nodes for KDA on the Flux infrastructure. And I think I can speak from everybody in this live stream right now and everybody on the team, they're going to hit 100 very quickly. So we're really excited to have them in the fray. So why did we partner with Kadena? In the short term, both projects' ethos aligns very closely. We have worked with them hand in hand as we added KDA to Zelcore. Their team is intelligent and smart, just like us. And we're really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, basic nodes will not qualify for this. So if you're running a basic, get to a super or get to a BAMF, and you'll be able to qualify for those rewards as well as you help support the network. So the Zel team is looking forward to this opportunity to strengthen both networks. And we talked earlier on in this presentation about the fact that the Holy Grail is that interchain operability. And man, this really gives us the opportunity to turn that on. So I think we have some KDA guys on right now. It looks like they're on. And I'm gonna, if you guys want to unmute yourself and share your camera if you want.
Hey, Daniel. This is Will from Kadena.
Will, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. And last minute, we decided to bring Doug on too, because Doug and I are both really excited about this. So Doug's our director.
Yep. Hey, Daniel. Nice to be here. Thanks.
Doug, these guys are madmen. It's I love going back and forth with them. So guys, while you're here, why don't you tell us a little bit? I probably just touched the surface of what Kadena is doing, and talk a little bit about as well how Kadena can capitalize on this relationship with Zel and Flux.
The quick summary is that Kadena is, I think we're the only project that has focused on solving the issues of proof of work by addressing proof of work. We have our mainnet that's been up for about a year. It uses a technique called chain web, which is effectively, not even effectively, it just is beaconless state charting. We have 20 chains all braided together into a single network. It allows us to pull off thousands of transactions a second on a proof of work network with very minimal latencies for proof of work, sub-minute effectively. And part of proof of work is that you want to have more nodes running more full nodes just replicating the blockchain. It's a core part of decentralization. And unlike with proof of stake, where you have to have a validator up, and if your validator goes down, then you can get slashed very badly, very quickly. There's no real incentives to run a full node besides that you really either love the network or you're a miner. And mining is big business, and we embrace big mining because we want to eventually grow to be 1,000 or 10,000 chain network, where it's just all being braided into a single network, and that's just big infrastructure. So part of the growth of the network is that we want to have more full nodes, just healthier for the network. And we are putting our money where our mouth is. We want to use some of the Kadena treasury to incentivize users and community members to be able to go and run full nodes. Now, that being said, we aren't specialists in that type of application of how do you go and incentivize a full node operation. And we had initially worked with Zel to do our wallet integration and had a great time with them. They were very fast and very professional. And they brought up Flux, and we kind of kept batting this idea around. And then in the span of, I think it's been 3 weeks since we started talking about it in earnest, it's gone from hey, yeah, let's maybe do this to, all right, yeah, it's working now. So we're just really excited.
We're really excited too, man. I tell you, and being part of those calls as we went back and forth and started the discernment process of how to make this all roll out, I couldn't be more excited to be aligned with you guys and what you're doing. As I stated earlier, our ethos is very, very similar. I really am appreciative of the opportunity you've given us and the trust that you've placed in us to continue to help scale your network. And we look forward to continuing that for a very long time.
Yeah, man, I love having the option of just saying, it's hey, we got this Docker image. We want to pay for X number of nodes to run for Y period of time. Just go put it together. That's a fantastic utility that I didn't know existed until we started talking with you guys.
Blockchain as a service, man. That's us. So, and we're excited too. So I think that's really awesome. Doug, do you have any input that you want to throw in there as well? Doug's kind of the mad genius. He comes in every now and again and drops in words of wisdom, and we're like, hey, yes, that.
I don't know that I can add a whole lot to what you guys have already said, except that we love, or I personally love working with the Kadena team. We've just got a phenomenal group of people, and you can really rely on them to deliver things. And we've seen the same thing with the Zel crew as well. Come in, it's hey, what do we need to do this? Have a few conversations. It's okay, we're good. And then we couple days later, you've got your nodes up and running, and that's just always a pleasure. Very easy to work with.
Did it, Doug, as being in a space like this, and I think Will mentioned it too. Did it surprise you at the speed at which we went from a concept to a we've got 10 nodes online?
Oh, yes. So it doesn't surprise me very much anymore internally because I've seen our team do this over and over again. But I've seen other teams not. And so I often am skeptical, but you guys made a complete believer out of me. You guys crushed it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, I look forward to working together, and thank you for jumping on today. I really do appreciate it. And you guys are more than welcome to hang around and watch Trunk launch a global Apple and Flux if you have time. So thanks again, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
See ya.
All right. So this has been an unbelievable event here in terms of this is the medium that will go out later today. It will break down a little bit more in detail what how this partnership is going to work, what it's going to look like, why we chose Kadena to work with, and they chose us to work together. It'll talk a little bit about our Flux V1 release and just kind of highlight some of these little pieces here and there. So let me get back here. So I'm going to close this meeting out, and I just want to again address the community and say our goal has been for 2 years to create something that is unique. At times it has been rough. We've had ups and downs. We've had people that have came and gone, and the team has stuck together with a commitment. And when I say a commitment, they really have worked together on a completely different platform. Again, that is possible because of the people in the community, especially those miners and node operators who have stuck with us. And I hope to continue to keep rewarding you for the foreseeable future, not necessarily in a monetary way, although that's nice to have, but to be part of a project that you can tell your kids about and they can tell their kids about. So I thank you all for taking the time today and jumping on this live meeting. I think it's the largest live meeting we've had. That's great. So looking forward to heading over to Zel Chat, join our Discord. We'll invite the Kadena guys over there if they want to come over and answer questions as well. And if you head over to Discord now, Trunk will be, well, hold on, Trunk's on here. Trunk, do we want to use this live stream? I think we're going to use this live stream, right?
We can use this live stream, yes.
Okay, so guys, if you disregard this last slide, if you have questions, you can pop them into, I'm going to stop sharing. And today you can start sharing. If you guys got questions, you guys can throw them up in the chat. And today is just going to do a little live stream coding here, which is always fun. Let's run with scissors today.
Yeah, it will take me a while how to figure out how to show all the screen.
I can see you, buddy.
Yeah, but I want to show like entire screen, not just an application. Sorry, I'm not really used to Zoom.
That's okay. Take your time. These guys, they don't have anything to do. Most of them called in off work today, so that's fine. They were excited for this. There should be, when you share screen, you should be able to share the whole screen. So there's an option. You go and you share the whole screen.
Not for me. I have just.
Hold on. Let me make sure I made you a co-host. You're a co-host.
I can just tell the application to share, not the whole.
Try now. I bumped you up. You should have, if you click on the share screen. Oh man, nothing like putting today's on the spot with the brand new Zoom, with a brand new